You're a new parent and you have no idea where to start with educating your baby. And that is what brought me originally to the Timberdoodle Infant and Toddler Curriculum Kit. I bought it for my kid and I'm going to tell you exactly what I thought about it, as well as give you advice on why Timberdoodle put certain things in there. Hi guys, Kathleen here. I'm a homeschool graduate, homeschool mom, and a learning enthusiast. As I said, today we're doing a in-depth, extreme detail on the toddler curriculum kit from Timberdoodle. I bought just the toddler side, but I'll address some of the infant side because I know everyone wants to know information about that as well. Whether it's necessary, whether you can benefit from anything. So let's start with Timberdoodle's philosophy. The younger years look a little bit different from the older years, so actually grades K through 12. With preschoolers, toddler, pre-K, Timberdoodle is very, very cognizant of developmental needs. So what they've chosen is going to be multi-sensory. It's going to be exactly what your kid needs at each stage. So there is a lot of thought put into each element in these kits. Now, I will say it is expensive. And if you're wanting how to get the benefit from the kit without having the big cost, stick around to the end, go to the fast facts. I'm going to answer those questions and others. With every Timberdoodle kit, you get the parent handbook, the curriculum handbook, which gives you a pretty much step-by-step guide on how to use everything in here. But it's a lot more than that. So let me turn the camera around so you can see exactly what I mean. Here is the handbook. You'll note that I have an old edition. This was bought for my son when he was 18 months old, and he is now 4. But Timberdoodle has kept many of the same content of the kits, so I'll definitely address and review those items. But I've also gone online to what they have out right now for the 2023-2024 kits. And the curriculum handbook is still going to look very similar. So the content will be just introductory matters, which you will need to read to understand the Timberdoodle method and philosophy. And then they have some very useful reference material in here as well. Now, one thing Timberdoodle is really known for is the online scheduler. For the tiny tots, you really do not need to use their online scheduler. But they put that information in here as well. But here's basically a checklist of everything that came in my 2020-2021 kit. And it gives you a suggestion on how many times a week to use each item. I just referenced this instead of the weekly checklist by age, which they do have in here. Now, the next section that they have is some very useful information for new parents on developmental milestones and growth per age group. And they'll also give you warnings on how you can know if your child may need some extra attention from your pediatrician. Whether or not the child can't calm down, whether or not there is some separation anxiety, some growth that's just not taking place. So that's just a bare minimum, but it's still very useful information. And as you can see, with each new age level the child gets into, they add more stuff to the checklist. And these are weekly checklists. It's not going to be a let's do this for 30 minutes thing. No, this is a very flexible plan that they give you. The next thing, which is awesome if you're a new parent and not really knowledgeable on all of the books out there for kids, is the reading challenge. Reading is extremely important for kids really up through elementary, but especially important for the younger years because it helps develop language. So it walks you through why reading is important, how the challenge works, how you can find material to read to, and then gives you some topic suggestions. So a book about love, a book about the world, a biography, a classic picture book. So that's the challenge. Now in the back, they give you even more. There's 550 book suggestions that are appropriate for that age. So The Little Engine That Could, Goodnight Moon,
some classics. There's Are You My Mother, books that talk about mothers, and they do this by topic. And they have this, Timberdoodle has a giant list of book suggestions in every single handbook because they recognize that reading to your kids or reading with your kids is extremely important. The next section in the handbook is going to be talking about each item that you purchased and how to use it. This is a book that they included and a schedule on how you might want to use it. And then they also give great suggestions on how to further use some of these things that they may not have very clear suggestions on within the item itself. So this is a great kind of reference at the beginning of the year to get your feet under you, especially if you're completely new to child education. And it's not something you'll need to read every week, but like particularly for this, the Palette of Pegs, they have phases on, okay, what you can expect your child to learn as they move through developmental steps. The last section in the book, and they have this, and I believe all the books I've seen, is just some parenting and homeschooling tips. It may not apply to your kid, it may not apply to your family, but I think it is very good suggestions on where to start with homeschooling and parenting.
Let's actually look at some of the stuff in the kit. Now, I don't have everything here because, like I said, I have an older kit. And when I bought the older kit, I also didn't buy everything because you can customize these kits based on your needs. So what I'm going to do is show you what I have and actually talk through each item in the kit, explaining to you as a new parent why Timberdoodle actually put these things in there. The first thing they have on the list is Active Baby Healthy Brain. I chose not to buy this in my kit, but it is a book that supposedly helps you as the parent play with your kid, essentially. I would kind of describe it as physical therapy, different specific things you can do to help your child with development. I did not see the need because I bought the kit when my son was 18 months old, and as a parent now that has had two kids go through infancy, I personally don't think it was valuable, but it may be valuable for you. So that's why it's in there, and you can definitely go check it out for yourself. The next thing that they have in their kit is a book of sign language. Now, these flashcards are for you as the parent, not for your baby. And they put this in there because it is possible to communicate with your kid before they actually ever start speaking. So for example, my kids, I taught them without this book, without the flashcards, I taught them how to ask for more. So at meal times, they're not screaming at me. I tried to teach them drink. That didn't really go over that well. Book was one that my daughter absolutely loved before she could start saying the word. So simple things like that can communicate without crying. And my son actually took a little bit longer to be verbal. I think he didn't start actually speaking words until about 16 months. So he was a little bit later, but I was never worried. My pediatrician was never worried because he could still communicate with the signs that I helped teach him. The next thing they have in there is a flower whistle. Now, honestly, I don't think this is necessary. I think it's just something that extra they threw in there. If your baby's nursing, they should have the mouth muscles strong enough. So I just call it a fun toy, not something absolutely necessary. The next thing they have is Indestructibles. These are amazing. This is a huge win. Now, I forgot to mention something earlier. I did loan this kit out to my sister, and she used it with her kid. And so it's also gone through my daughter. So this kit has gone through 3, everything I'm showing you. And I can definitely tell you what is a hit with the young kids and what's not. And these are a huge hit. They're great for the babies. You can see I gave this one to my baby. She crinkled it, she chewed on it, she spit on it. They are truly indestructible. There's a whole series of indestructible books that you can buy off of Amazon. You can see a few of them right there. But the ones in the Timberdoodle kit are Busy City, My Neighborhood, and Hello Farm. Now, one of the other things that is great about these books are they are great for when you're actually reading to your kid eventually. They're simple pictures, so it's not super distracting, and there's really no text for you as the parent, so it encourages active reading. For example, you would be looking at this picture saying, welcome to the neighborhood. Let's look at everybody here. There's a police dog right there. Can you find the house that's pink? Now that's when they're a little bit older, but those kinds of things, these books are great for that. Plus the topics are really great. So My Neighborhood, farm, talking about different farm animals, and then The Busy City. So the kids review, definitely 3 stars out of 3. Biggest hit here. The next thing they have in their kit is the Visual Perception Collection. It is basically a set of books that are black and white, high contrast books. They put these in there because the really young infants cannot see in color. It's blurry, their eyesight's really not great. And as the infant develops its eyesight, then they can see other things in books, some of the finer details, some of the more beautiful pictures. So you'll see high contrast toys all over the place for infants, and that is one of the reasons that Timberdoodle put these books in this kit. The next thing they have is the touch and feel picture cards. I did not get this with the original kit. I actually got this for my daughter, and I regret purchasing it. What they are is a whole bunch of flashcards. Timberdoodle has two separate boxes in their kit. But they are flashcards that are really touch and feel. Now, one of the main benefits of these is the questions on the back. So if you are a new parent, this might be really, really useful for you if you don't know how to active read with your child. So not only is it tactile, interactive for your kids so you can help hold their attention. They're fun, real pictures, which kids always love actually looking at real pictures of animals. But on the back, they have very useful questions like, touch the monkey, let's see what it feels like. What noise does a monkey make? And then you as the parent can say, oop, 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 oop. One thing I don't think is helpful on here are the different languages. And that's a whole soapbox. So do not use these as flashcards. They are put in here more as an interactive thing with your kid. And quite honestly, my daughter, she just loves carrying these around and putting them into things. She has enjoyed playing with them a little bit, but you can get the tactile stuff from other books. So yes, they're fun, but if you have touch and feel books already, this is kind of going to be a duplicate, and using it as a way to teach your kid animals is not the most efficient or the most ideal way to educate them on language. The next thing Timberdoodle has in their kit is a whole bunch of books. I'm just going to put a whole bunch of pictures up here so you can look through them. They have chosen really good books that are interactive, books that are rhyming, books that have flaps or music to be interactive, books that are tactile, books that train the parents on how to actively read to their kids. So those are really good choices that they have in there. But if you have a great book selection that does many of these things, I would say it's a duplicate. So just use your money wisely. One thing they did put in here, which is again a 3 out of 3 stars for all 3 kids who tried this kit. The Usborne very first book of things to spot at home. There's a second book in this kit, which I did not buy, but it would still be phenomenal. If you don't know it already, I am an Usborne enthusiast. There's other videos I put out that you can go look, I'll link them below, for why I love Usborne so much and showing you some of the specific things I use from Usborne. But this book in particular actually teaches you as the parent how to active read. So once again, there's simple pictures for your younger readers, so it's not a whole bunch of distracting images, and the things that your child can definitely tell what is in here. My 18-month-old daughter absolutely loves this book right now. Some of the things that Usborne put in here that are very useful are prompts for the parent, like who is sleeping in the bed, or find 2 striped socks. But that's just teaching you as the parent how to actively reach your kid. And from then you got the idea. You can say, oh, who's under the bed? Or can you spot some shoes? But that's actually after the kid has learned some of the words. But before then, you're just sitting there pointing out, like in this picture, you're sitting there pointing out, I see a bird in the window. There is a cat sleeping on the floor. Oh, someone left their slippers out. So it is a phenomenal book on teaching parents how to actively read. And if you already know how to actively read to your child, then it is a great book to just have basic language introduction. There's stuff from all over the house in this book. Outside, you can talk about families, about photos, bath time, getting dressed. There's patterns in here, so you can point out polka dots versus stripes. It is really, really a great book. And even you can use this with your preschoolers, with which bird is different, or can you tell me which flower is the tallest? So it is definitely worth the investment to get this. Okay, from there, Timberdoodle included something for math for your toddler. Yes, math. Now it sounds a little bit strange, but our conception of math is actually very limited to worksheets. Math is so much more diverse in its content. And this kit here shows one of the reasons why it is more diverse. So Junior Rainbow Pebbles is a kit where your child basically is working on their visual perception and shapes, which is obviously math. What you have are these cards in here with different shapes that your child will then take the pebbles from and figure out which shape it matches to. There's pebbles of various sizes, 3 different sizes in this kit, and different colors. My son, I did not realize, was gifted when I got this kit. I got it when he was 18 months. The box says 18 months plus. So I did not explain anything to him. I just gave him a card and he immediately took one of these and put it on there and was bored with all of the cards in a couple of weeks. So he enjoyed it, but I think he just rather preferred playing with these. They're really great tactile things for the younger kids. There's a whole bag of them that come with the kit. But it was kind of expensive for how short of a time my son enjoyed it. My nephew did not really play with it that much. So far, my daughter has not really enjoyed it. She's figured out the concept, doesn't have it down, but again, just prefers this and actually putting these in the bag, dumping them, playing with them, carrying them around the house. So it is a good idea. And it could work with the right kid, but so far that just has not been my kids. The next section that Timberdoodle has in their kit is STEM. And again, it's kind of weird to think of STEM when you're talking about toddlers and infants, but there's a reason for that. This is what they consider STEM. It is really something to help your kid engage with something mechanical. So this did not come with the kit. This is actually a gift from my mom to my daughter for Christmas last year, but they have whirligigs in the kit. So yes, the kids absolutely love this. Another thing in here for STEM they call Baby Poppy. I did not get the Baby Poppy, but I have this, which is by Latoy Van. I got off of Amazon, and it is fine motor, so that was one of the reasons Timberdoodle put it in here. Figuring out how to put something in a peg, but then you can also do the spring. And my daughter's just figuring out how to do that. You can see we've lost one of them in all the plays. But my son had fun with these for a bit. My daughter really loved figuring out how to put them into the pegs. So I would call this a win on Timberdoodle's part. Timberdoodle also has 2-piece puzzles in there, 2-piece face puzzles.
Two-piece puzzles are definitely a step above the chunky puzzles or the puzzles with the pegs on it that your kid are using for fine motors. So yeah, it's a fine motor thing. Two-piece puzzles are awesome for the toddlers, for probably 18 to 2 years old, as a next step. But so yeah, that is a win. I did not get it. I have my own two-piece puzzles. But that is a great choice for Timberdoodle to put them in the kits. There's one thing in here in the stem that I'm kind of like, I don't really think that's such a great choice. It is the Smart Max Baby Stem. It's a magnetic kit. It looks cool. It's just an extra toy. I chose not to get it because it was expensive. So again, your choice. You may like it. You may say, great, it's another toy we can have around the house. We already had magnetic toys, so I chose not to go with it. Another STEM item is Match the Buddies. Again, 3-star out of 3 for all 3 kids that have tried these. My son especially loved these. It is basically a single piece puzzle. Get them out. You have a picture of an animal and one hole, and then a matching picture of the other animal, but it's not an exact match. You'll notice that there's slight difference in here, and that goes with every single animal that's in here. The picture that fits in here is not going to be an exact match. So it's a little extra puzzling that they do mentally, and again, fine motor dexterity with the fingers. So my kids loved it, and I would definitely call this a win. The last thing in the STEM section for this kit is the stacking rocket. It is essentially a shape puzzle, and it's probably a little bit more challenging for the younger toddlers, probably geared more towards the 2-year-olds. So if you have a shape puzzle at home, it would be a duplicate, but it does look really cool. I just didn't get it because of cost. The next section of items that Timberdoodle has chosen to put in here is emotional intelligence. They have a book on faces and basic emotions. I'm like, yeah, for a young kid, I don't know. For a 2-year-old, probably, but again, you can get it from the library. They have a mirror, which is a classic infant toy, so definitely a win there because babies really, really love seeing other faces. So if they're engaging with their own face, that is definitely a great developmental toy. Timberdoodle put a baby doll in here for either boys or girls. We did not choose the baby doll with the kit. It is kind of expensive, but my daughter, when she was 1, did end up getting a baby doll for Christmas. So it again is a classic thing. Your child is learning how to interact with others. It is learning how to take care of another. So it is a definite win. Great choice on Timberdoodle's part. There's something we do have, but I don't have it out here because my daughter's taking a nap, and this is stored in the closet in the bedroom there. It is the Playmobil. Playmobil was something I played with when I was growing up. It has been around for decades. It is definitely a classic, and the Playmobil chosen for this kit is for ages 1.5 and up. So you have the little figurines, and then they interact with vehicles. You have animals you can put them in. They are really, really great for matching to play for the little older kids. But for the younger kids, they just love putting the Playmobil into the various vehicles that you can put them in. So fine motor skills there. Plus, they are people that they can interact with and animals that they can interact with. So again, Timberdoodle, great job, 3 stars putting that into this kit. The next section is fine motor skills. They put in this kit a dimple stack. I don't know if you've seen them, but the dimples, the pop things, they're all the rage right now. Good choice for fine motors. There's cheaper stuff out there, but they do look really cool. I don't have them. We have other dimple things, but good choice by Timberdoodle to put a fine motor dimple thing in this kit. They have the Gymnic Physio Roll Ball. It's supposed to work with that book that's a physical therapy book that I referenced earlier,
I did not get it. It looks cool. Kids may like it. I chose not to get it because I was not going to do any of the physical therapy with my baby or playing motor skills with my baby. My son was 18 months old, and if I were to go back and do it again, depends on our budget at the time. Currently in the kit, they have also something called the Little Dimple, which to me is a duplicate of the other dimples, the pop things that you have in there. So I would say choose one or the other if you want it. They also have a set of books that are finger plays. Now, this is a great choice. Teaching you how to finger play with your baby, to do engaging things with your baby, like pat a cake, like this little pig went to market. That is classic. It is great for you interacting with your kid. Also, they are rhyming. So that is really key for language development, for kids to hear rhyming words. So another great choice by Timberdoodle to put that in here. They did choose a ball, classic choice for gross motor and fine motor skills. I did not get the ball in the kit. We had plenty of balls, but again, Timberdoodle chose right to put it in here for first-time parents. One thing I do have from the fine motor section is this Haba palette of pegs. I have mixed feelings about it. My son engaged with it great. What it is basically a piece of wood that has a whole bunch of holes in it, and then you have pegs that you can put in. It's a duplicate of the poppy right here, so that part, the pegging, is already included in the kit. And then from there, you have these little rings that you can put on top. When my son got this out for the first time at 18 months, he figured out quickly that you can do this, stacking everything on top of each other. So some kids may engage with it well, some may not. Timberdoodle also suggests you do patterns like teal, green, and teal. It could be used for that. I tried it with my son. It never really worked. So what inevitably ends up happening is these get scattered all over the room, and it never really is used for pegging. So great idea, great concept. I'm just not thrilled with all the pieces as a parent. I misspoke when I was talking about the finger play games. There is another book in here called Pat a Cake, and that is where you get the classic rhyming and games, but they're both finger play interacting with your baby. So I would say thumbs up for the Pat a Cake book as well. There's one more thing they put in here, which is definitely for a toddler. That is the dot markers. Now, this is a high quality dot marker kit that I chose not to get because we already had the classic dot markers in our art supplies. But I would definitely agree it is a great first introduction to art for a toddler because it doesn't take a whole lot of fine motor to use the dot marker and bang it around a blank page. Now, the kit they have is pricey because it looks like a fun finished product, but I would say you could do the same thing without the expensive kit. So great choice. Dot markers are great for an 18-month-old. My daughter's loving it right now. But again, an expensive addition to the kit. The last section they have in this kit is sensory skills. Now, sensory exploration is a huge deal for younger kids because of sensory processing disorders that could develop. Quite honestly, the cheapest way to combat this is just to get your kid outside because they can get all the sensory experiences they need out there. Put a blanket down on the grass, go for a walk, interact with nature. But if you want sensory experiences inside, this is still great. And actually, there's some things in here that I still love because of the fine motor component. First thing they have for the sensory skills is a tissue box, and it's basically a box with a whole bunch of stuff in it. Now, this is not the one they have in their kit. I would say theirs looks like a higher quality than mine. I had to duct tape the lid because it kept popping off. But I love the idea. I love the different tactile things in here that your baby can interact with. And then there's the whole fine motor of putting everything back in the hole. So good choice on Timberdoodles. I can't say whether or not it is the best toy out there in quality, but it definitely looks better than the one I have. They also chose a really gorgeous play silk to put in. I did not buy the play silk because it looked a little bit expensive. I did get cheaper versions off of Amazon. Now these are phenomenal because yes, they're soft, their kids love to touch them. When you have the really young kids, the babies, the 1-year-old, they love playing peekaboo. My daughter absolutely loved playing peekaboo with the play silks. But as you get older, you can use this as a blanket for the baby. You can put this down and put animals on it for an ocean. If you get different colors, you can have a whole lot of experience with sensory play with these. So good, wise choice on Timberdoodle to put them in the kit. They have a baby toy in there, the caterpillar, Play Together Caterpillar. I have not seen it, so I can't say one way or the other whether it's a good baby toy, but it looks like it could be fun. And when you have those toys for ages like 6 and younger, or maybe 3 months even, there's a lot of just crinkles and interactions and soft stuff that you can do with them. So it looks like a good choice. I cannot say whether or not it's a high quality item. Timberdoodle did put a teether in there for the really youngest infants, so good choice again. Kids need teether. It could be expensive, I don't know. You could probably get a cheaper one someplace else. They put a couple toys in here. There's something called Zippy that looks essentially that. It's a baby toy, so I can't say whether or not it's good. They put it in after the kit was updated, and I did not get the infant kit originally. The last thing, and if there is one thing that is a hands down, you can use it with a 1-year-old, you can use it with a 10-year-old, this is it. This is what they call the sensory pop tubes. I'm sure you've all heard and seen these before. They give you a pack of them in the Timberdoodle kit because they're not sturdy. I've gone through a couple of them already in the trash. But yes, my kids love them. I've given them to nieces and nephews. The nieces and nephews have loved them. So excellent choice, Timberdoodle. Something they got rid of, and I wish they didn't. It's the Let's Play Animal Bingo. This is a really fun game that my son, that my nephew, that my daughter, even though she's only 18 months, enjoys greatly. Each card in here has a different type of animal on it. And then you have the animals that you can pull from a pile to match the card. Now, like I mentioned with the other puzzle they put in here, there is a little bit of difference between the two animals, so it's still a puzzle-ish type thing. They have to use their critical thinking and figure out, yes, even though the zebra has a hat, it still works with this zebra. But it is a great first game. It is always hard to find games for ages 3 and under, and this would be a huge win. At first, you can use it as a puzzle, and I would definitely suggest paring down to just the 2 boards or 3 boards you were using for that game. And then you just take turns flipping a piece over from the center and figuring out whose it goes on. So you can do it very simple, and it is a great method to learn turn taking. We did this with my 18-month-old, and yes, she was able to learn turn taking. The entire family played it, and one of the best things was it was non-competition. It was more interactive. So we were putting pieces on each other's boards. So it's a group effort. I wish Timberdoodle would have kept this game in the kit because I think it is really good. It was put out by Banana Panda, and I'll see if I can put a link down below from Amazon so you can go find it for yourself. The other thing Timberdoodle got rid of because they were putting in different books, but they're still really great books. Again, this is a 3 out of 3 stars from 3 kids that tried them. The Highlights series, Find It. There's 4 books that I have that came from the old kit. There is Find It Things That Go, Find It Animals, Find It Farm, and Find It Bedtime. Now, each book has a little bit different focus, but same methodology. For the farm, you can see they say, can you find the cow? And so from over here, you're supposed to instruct the child to find the picture within the bigger picture. So each page, yes, you have things in there, but again, this is great for active reading.
Your kid is learning vocabulary. You can point out extra things in the picture. And then when you get to the back, this is for the older kids, you are teaching something else. So we're talking about colors here. There is another book that talks about numbers. This one here talks about what sounds do each make. So these are a huge hit. I'll try to find a link and put it down below. Books that I absolutely love from the original collection that I was kind of disappointed they didn't put back in the kit, probably because of distribution issues. I'm not sure, but I'll link it down below if I can find it. Now let's get to what I call the fast facts, the things that every parent wants to know about their curriculum kit. First question, cost. How much does this kit cost? It is pricey. If you're doing both the toddler and the infant kit, at the moment it's about $1,000, but that's because you're getting tons of books and toys. So can you make it cheaper? Yes, you can. Timberdoodle's great about customizing kits. If you just want to do the toddler kit, that is still $600, but you can eliminate a lot of the books and just get from your library, so that makes it cheaper, or you can get alternatives. Some of the suggestions for alternatives, the baby doll, a Melissa and Doug baby doll. It's definitely cheaper than the high quality one that they have in there. For the high contrast stuff, there's all sorts of materials and toys you can find high contrast on the market for your baby. For the mirror, I chose something from Sassy. This is a interactive mirror. It has some high contrast, it has some crinkles on it. So again, cheaper choice. You could actually get some of these used if you don't mind it. You can find them at yard sales. You can find them off of Facebook Marketplace. So there's cheaper options out there. The other way to make it cheaper is to just not get it all. I chose not to get some of the things because it was pricey. I chose alternative things because it essentially did some of the same things. So yes, definitely customize it. Pare it down. There is a minimum amount for buying a kit from Timberdoodle to get some of the discounts and the handbook. So you'll have to watch out for that. But you can definitely customize it and pare it down to exactly what is useful to you. Second question, what type of family or kids will this kit be useful for? I would say for first-time parents, the kit is definitely put together for those parents who don't know all these things, who don't know the whys behind why some of these toys or books are out there. So great choice for that. If it's your second kid, you can pick and choose some of the ideas. So I all the time go to Timberdoodle for ideas on curriculum and see like, oh, I don't have that. That would be a really great choice for Christmas or to include in my curriculum right now. So you can go to Timberdoodle for inspiration. You can say, that is a great Usborne book they chose, or I love the Playmobil. You can buy it from there. I would highly suggest you do to support this homeschool business, or you can buy it from other places as well. Third question, how much time does this curriculum take? The answer, as much as you want. These younger years, it's really all up to you on how you do it, when you do it. I leave these things out for my younger kids just as toys to interact with. And sometimes I do take the lead, particularly with the game, but it is all up to your kid on how they use it, when they use it. Fourth question, what is the type of learner this kit is good for? Any type. You can have kinesthetic learning in here. There's definitely auditory learning in here. There's visual learning in here. And at this young age, you really do need it all. Fifth question, ease of use. How easy is this kit to use? Once you read the handbook and get an understanding of how they set up everything, it is very easy. But I would definitely suggest you do some front work to read this so it's not perfectly open and go. There is a little bit of prep work, but once you understand the philosophy, it is really easy to use after that. Final question I'm throwing in here because I have a gifted kid and I want to make sure I include this with every curriculum review. Is this kit useful for a gifted kid? I would say yes, and I'm going to qualify that because I did not know my son was gifted when he went through here. And I mentioned it a couple times, but some of these things he just sped through way too fast for the amount I paid for it, particularly the puzzles. Some of these things he still is interacting with as a 4-year-old because he's working with his now 18-month-old sister. So gifted kid can use it. It's just be prepared for them to go way too fast through it for the price you paid for it, which is typical of giftedness.
Is it useful to develop their brains? Absolutely. The choices they put in here is great developmental for ages 0 through 2 of any kind of kid. Each kid needs to go through these stages of development for mental, for physical, particularly the fine and gross motor skills. The language development, these books will all be useful. Depending on the gifted kid, you may go through some of these books faster. For example, there are kids who speak like adults by the time they're 2, so you may need to use some of these materials earlier than other kids. It's just one of those things you're going to have to adjust on a kid by kid basis. Final thoughts. I definitely would say this is a big win for a ages 0 to 2 years old curriculum kit. They hit all of the developmental needs, the developmental milestones that you would look for in a curriculum kit for this age group. They are teaching you as a parent about development. They are choosing things that are high quality for your kids. So use your judgment on what your budget can afford and pick and choose some of these things. But it is definitely a great guide for educating those really little kids.